doing, sir?
Yeah, good.
Okay.
All right, so our session is on recording, and officially welcoming you to this session. Yeah. Okay. Yesterday we talk about training data, just trying to understand different data available for training AI, so which we did enough. So we set a good foundation, and we know what data is, different types of data. So today we're going to be talking about annotation, which is the main thing for this particular module. Annotation. We'll be able to identify data as available, but how do we annotate this data? So we're going to start the annotation properly. So it's introduction to data annotation. So data annotation just have a simple definition. It's not difficult to understand. So we already know what data is, and what we plan to understand is annotation. What is annotation? You can just see annotation is labeling. So this will give us quick understanding of what annotation. Labeling of these data. This data is they are raw data. They are not clean. So we that train data in AI training, the way to clean data is through annotation, classification of data, labeling them. Yeah, in data analysis, we can use, can say cleaning of data can be trying to identify missing values, duplicates, redundant. So these are the kind of in data analysis, but in AI engineering or in AI data, AI training, annotation is labeling. So there are different types of way we can annotate and try to look at understanding of the guidelines involved in annotation, because it's not just labeling. At times we might find a situation where it becomes difficult for us to understand which label to use. So this is why we are studying it deeply and try to understand it as professionals. Yeah. And anyone's looking for you. She's downstairs. I promise tonight's class is gonna be shorter than last night, because I myself too, I have another class after this, so we don't have all the night to celebrate. So, like I said, is lesson point 1.2, which is data annotation. Yeah. We plan to understand annotation, explain the basics annotation life cycle and labeling, explaining the annotation guideline. This guideline is very important, and schemas, define ground truths and annotation metadata, and distinguish between human annotation and AI assisted annotation. Yeah. So that is precisely what we plan to achieve this night. So, what is data annotation? Like I said, the simplest definition is just labeling. Labeling. So, data annotation is the process of adding labels, tags, categories, or other meaningful information to raw data. So, the main thing is, in any way we can make this data to be well understood by AI, we're going to do that. So anyway, so and the best way, according to research, is through labeling. And yeah, so that's why we talk about labeling. So that is what it means. And this data before we annotate any data, we recognize or categorize such data as raw data. Raw data is the only data I can annotate. So once we have this annotation, we should be able to use that particular data to train AI, evaluate AI, or improve AI and machine learning. So this kind of raw data can be text. Our texting is saying we are very good at sending a lot of text. You know, yeah. If you go to social media, you see all the time we're sending text, chats. All these are called texts. You know, they are better. If you go to court, so if you bring all these chats, they are big evidence these days. Even WhatsApp chats, all these are big evidences you can use to send someone to. So these are big data that it can be so casual, but they are all data. They are very important. As a matter of fact, this kind of data is the data AI loves so much, because most of the time when we push this kind of text and images, messages, we push them from our hearts. It's not something we prepare to push. You don't say, if you are chatting with your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you know, you relax and send chat from your heart. So it's very important data that AI can use to understand human being, you know, more. We have images. Most of the images that we love, we are here love, and those images that is not casual, let me use casual images. They are more natural. And most of such images are not organized, they are not categorized, they are not tagged. So such images, yes, images of objects. A lot of objects, AI want to recognize objects. They want to recognize environment. They want to recognize how street looks like. They want to recognize how dogs looks like, different types of dogs, cars. These are objects. So we must be able to annotate this kind of images very well, so that AI should be able to say, oh, this guy is in the streets of London. This is streets of New York. This is street of Lagos. This is street of Kano, Kaduna, you know, Enugu, Onitsha, and different part of the world. AI should be able to understand all these streets, how they look like. And audio is something that's very important. You know, why audio is very important is that through audio, we talk about Through audio, we talk about accents, voices. So excuse me, guys. So Ben, take some out of here now. If I come there, excuse me. Okay. Go there and block it. Sorry about that. Okay, we are in still the definition of annotation. So we'll talk about videos, audios, they are all important data. Even documents. All these are data that need to be properly tagged, labeled very well. Conversation, we should be able to label conversation. Numbers, numerical records, they are all important aspects. Simple example of such text. This is a text. Raw customer message is a text. This is how it is before we process it. Let's still just say process annotation is processing of data. Before we process it for training, this is how it is. So my payment failed when I try to complete my order. AI cannot understand the intent. What is this for? What? So if we need to annotate a data, then we must define the intent. Like this sentiment text, we must be able to do what is the purpose. That is the intention. The intent is payment. Payment. If we do not define it, AI might understand it in another way. Yeah. When you say order here, AI see order, AI can attribute any other thing to order. You can say this is, you can even attribute delivery. Order goes with delivery. So this is the reason we need to define the purpose for this annotation. And that is why if we need to process this data through annotation, then this is the way it's going to look after the annotation. We've added intent here, which is payment issue. Then we equally added sentiment, which is sentiment is feeling negative. You can see this particular person is not happy. That is negative feeling. So that is With this, AI can understand the statement. And anytime he sees this kind of statement, he can always remember that I was taught that this kind of statement is for payment issue, and not being happy most of the time when something failed, payment failed, or the customers are not happy. So this is an example of how annotation should look like before and after. We are going to be seeing a lot of text. It's not only images we're going to be seeing. Yes, Perpetua, can I help you?
Yes, sir. There's a little noise coming from your end. I don't know where it's coming from, or it's a bit distracting.
There's no noise here. I'll send the children.
I don't know if I'm the only one, but anyway.
I'm sorry, maybe it's not from my end.
There's no noise now. It was before.
I don't have any noise within this environment. You check yourself very well. But this place I've sent the children away, so there's no noise. Okay, and that's it. Why data annotation is extremely important, is extremely important these days because the growing need for quality AI outcome depends on the annotation. Our entire life, this generation going forward, everything we do, we're heavily depending on AI. So AI should be able to be accurate, trusted, and we've known that, yes, AI have been trained over data, but it's not just about data. It's about quality data. That's what we establish here ASD. It's about quality data. Extremely important, quality data. Yes. Yeah, we've been analyzing data, cleaning data for analysis, business consumption, but it's different. It's a different ball game in what we're doing in training AI. So we need to train it AI, and the way we consume data is different from the way AI consume data. In data analysis, we analyze data for human consumption. In data annotation, we clean data or process data for a machine consumption, AI and machine learning. This is the two. So even if you've known how to clean a data, process a data as a data analyst, it's a different career path. If you bring it here, you are going to fail. If you bring your use your experience you have as a data analyst come here, you are going to fail. So that's why it's extremely important. Many AI systems need this annotation. We cannot do without them. It's extremely important. So we've seen something like this. We already treated something like this. I want my money back. That's a refund. I cannot log into my account. That is account access, my payment fail, that is payment issues. We should be able to have a log we use. This is going to help AI to help us in business environment, analyzing business problems, solving business problems, predicting outcomes very well when it comes to business problems, business environment. So it's something that is almost everything we do within the business environment, starting from sales, marketing, operations, HR, everything within. They are going to all the messages, all the text. They need to be highly annotated and they need to be highly refined, over time to keep AI meeting up with our expectation. So, like you see here, this labeled example help AI system learn how different types of customer inquiries should be classified. AI is not monster. AI is just a tool, is a machine. Is what we ask AI to do that AI is doing. Confusion, that's why the companies are all this AI lab, they are paying a lot of money to get it right. Because in some cases, you see, you are talking A and AI is talking B. It's not because the machine learning or the machine operation is not good. Is because we are feeding AI with wrong data, wrong food. And I want to give you an example. If you buy a brand new Range Rover car, Range Rover Sports, or brand new Mercedes, these are strong, or even Tesla, these are strong cars. Very good, very good reputation. Go and put bad oil on this vehicle. What is going to happen? What, for some of us who are somebody like me, I don't even have a car, so but I can talk about cars. So some of us who have cars, what is going to happen?
The engine will knock now.
Follow the engine.
You see, so that is the way it works. That is how it's going to be to AI. When you feed AI a beautiful AI model, then you start feeding them with wrong information. The outcome is good. What they are going to be predicting is going to be rubbish. Is as simple as that. So I want us to understand, this is why, you see, some people might be looking down on this role or career path of annotation, but it's one of the most important aspects of AI life cycle, AI engineering. Some people are more interested, companies more interested in the outcome, how prompting is manipulation, but if AI is not trained well, no matter how you manipulate them through prompting, you will still be hallucinating. So annotation is the foundation. That's why it is very, very important. Annotation is very, very important. So key principle, raw data becomes more useful to many AI systems when the meaningful labels are added to it. So once you annotate them, then it becomes edible food to AI, just like food. So if you human being, you are very healthy. Yes. Just give yourself even 1 week, eat wrong food, eat rubbish, and you see yourself, your body will start changing, reaction, you know. Just what you eat inside you, just for 1 day you eat something, the reaction. So it's like that. So AI, the food AI is an annotated data. So for us to have the best of it, it must be annotated. And that brings us to data labeling. So data labeling is the act of assigning specific label or category to a piece of data. And that is annotation. That is the main activity in annotation, data labeling. Examples here, text, you label, this is a service was excellent. This we need to, most of the time, you need to come with intent, like this is customer feeling. Feeling always comes with positive, that is sentiment. We assign positive. Image, yes, most of the time we need to describe the exact name of an image, which is actually important. And the image we see bicycle, that is labeling. Support request. Support request, I cannot access my account. Label here is, you see, request. Request is account access. So this is how we're going to, this, as you can see, this in its own is a code. Data annotation is a simple coding. Yeah. When you write to add label, these are coding. I don't know if you don't, data annotation is coding. I want you to understand that it's code. Because anytime all these things you are doing here is no longer normal language. It's now a code. So you are now writing a code to help AI understand what they are doing. Labels and classes. Labels. A label is the value assigned to an individual data. Example, in sentiment, you can use negative or positive or neutral. Like here they'll talk about, okay is neutral. Yeah. Charles, how are you? Okay. I don't know. This is a neutral, the person is, you know, you don't know whether the person is happy, you don't know whether the person is sad. Okay. You don't know, are you coming? Okay. Do you want to eat? Okay. So in some of these, so that is, it can be, this can be neutral. Like you can have, when you come to sentiment, you can have neutral, negative, positive. So that's label, can be a name of an object. These are still label. It can be a description of a request. That is the, but when we come to classes, a class is one of the predefined categories available within and annotation tags. So in tags, for a segment tags, we may have tags help, class help us to break down the labels. Like I said, positive, negative, neutral. So classes, that is classification of labeling. It helps us to, break different types of label in an intent. Like sentiment here can be an intent. So when it is sentiment analysis, how do we select the right label in a sentiment analysis? So under this sentiment analysis, we use class to break the different types of labels available. Customer support, under customer support. So customer support analysis, how do we pick the right request or tax or intent? We use classes like billing, refund, technical support, access, and general inquiry. So this helps us to pick the specific intention, which is the accurate label. So that is the difference between labeling and class. Class is classification of labels. So class available categories, label category assigned to a specific object or example. Annotation guideline. This annotation guideline is very, very important. Every discipline or a career path should have a governance principle or a guideline or policies that specify best practice. These are still a new topic, or everything about AI is still very new. Even in AI governance, we are still yet to have a standardized AI governance, even though we in data governance, we are beginning to develop aspect of it, but we are yet to have a concrete governance policy or document about AI. So in every aspect of it, we still have something to hold on or to hang on. And this is where this annotation guideline. Yeah. It doesn't have any section or subsection at this moment backing it up, but this is a professional guideline, not subsection or this guideline. It's still at the professional level, not at the legislative level. Yeah. So annotation guidelines are written instruction explaining how annotators should label data consistently and correctly. The guidelines tells annotators, if you're trying to start your annotation, what are they annotating? You must understand what is being annotated. What are we annotating? Which labels are available? What each labels mean? When each label should be used? how ambiguous cases should be handled and which cases should be escalated. So these are one of the best steps towards this, trying to organize this career path. If we need to be professional, if we need to have best practices within data annotation, which is already taking place. Example of guideline, you see a tax, classify customer sentiment, and you see available label. This will show you this is what is available. So if you are going to be labeling, it means that if they are giving you a task to do any kind of annotation, you are not expected to manufacture the label from your head. You must have you must have a label bank where you choose to do your work. Like now, you say they give you a task, they must provide available labels. Task classify customer sentiment. You say available label positive. When the customer express satisfaction, praise, or approval, it's going to be positive. So you see here, a customer here, excellent service, thank you. This is, you see, it goes with positive label. You see another customer sentiment. Use when the customer expresses dissatisfaction, frustration, or criticism. And example here is, this is terrible. It goes with negative. See, negative. Now, they tell you again, use this when no clear positive or negative opinion is expressed. Then use neutral. Example, my order arrives today. Yeah, it arrives. Yeah, no, you don't know whether you are happy because the product is not good, or it arrives late, or it just arrived, nothing. So this is how guideline works. So anytime you want to give a task, you must provide the available labels involved within a scenario or within intentions. So let's look at this, why this guidelines matters. Imagine two annotators reading. Two annotators, they are reading, and the product is fine, but delivery took long. Now, you see annotator A can choose positive, and annotator B can choose negative, because there is no guideline here. And this particular statement is very tricky. You know, it talks about product. The product is fine, but the delivery took so long. So we have a mixture of idea, of mixture of reaction. So what are we in a situation? Because if we have a guideline, for instance, without clear guideline, different annotators interpret it differently. But annotation guideline, when each label should be used, we should define when each label should be used. So, for instance, if I have defined that this is within product quality, that is what we are talking about here. If anyone here is choosing negative, is wrong, because what we are talking about here, so this delivery took long should be disregarded if we are talking about the quality of a product. If the context, everything here is within this context, product quality, then every other thing should be disregarded, like it took so long. But if the context here is within product delivery, then the quality here is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about quality. We're talking about the delivery. The product might be very beautiful, very good, but it can be a cloth. I want to use this cloth for my graduation on Friday. You know, it's a very beautiful suit from Armani, you know. But this product arrives on Sunday, and I'm supposed to use it on Friday. Are we talking about the quality here? We're not talking about the quality. We're talking about this product came late. It's not about whether it's the best suit I've put on, but the purpose is defeated because the graduation is gone. I didn't use it on that graduation, and I'm not happy. So the main thing is to understand the purpose. In a situation where there is no purpose, there is no defined guideline, there is going to be confusion. Anybody can start saying yes, positive, yes, negative, because even if I did not, all of us, even me, without any guideline, is a confusion. I might even say positive, negative. And you cannot tell AI that a statement is positive, negative. What do you mean by positive, negative? You cannot do that. So the guideline describe when to use it, when each label should be used. I hope I'm making a point here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're making a point.
Okay. Annotation schema. Annotation schema defines the structure of annotation text, including what information should be labeled and the categories or the field. So that is what we call schema, called data schema. When we talk about schema, we'll talk about properties. I want to use the way we understand it better. What are the composition of a car? A car. How a car? A car should have tires, a car should have this and that. That is the composition of that car. Different aspect of that car, different components. So annotation should be that way as well. Field, the annotation should have different field, different components. So we should be able to first identify the field, and each field, then we assign values to every field. Just like if we want to talk about data schema, we want to talk about logging in details as a data, then we'll need to break it and say login, we'll say username, we'll say password. So these are login details. Each field, username can be a field. Then password should be another field. So this is a schema. It's a simple data schema. So annotation, well packaged, to avoid all this confusion with good guideline, should come with a schema. So field like this, you should have intent, sentiment, priority. Once you have it this way, then it's going to be easy for annotators to work on. Yeah. Most of the things, these things are going to be, you can turn tomorrow to become a senior data annotator. And you need to prepare annotation document for work. And yeah, you should be able to come up with something like this, guidelines. So, for instance, intent, available values for a fund, billing, technical, and account access. Under sentiment, we can have positive, neutral, and negative. And priority, we can say is low, is medium, is high. So it's just a way of packaging and classifying our annotation to make it more easy for us to understand. A single customer message could therefore receive several annotation. Example, I was charged twice and need this fixed immediately. Intent can be billing. Sentiment, negative. And priority, high. So this is one single statement. And you can see it has different annotation labels and tags assigned to it. And yeah, so annotation might over time no longer be that just simple, just to say a dog or sentiment. You can have a situation you see yourself assigning different 2 or 3 labels in a particular situation, a particular statement. Guidelines versus schemas. Annotation guideline explain how to annotate. Annotation schema define what should be annotated. Guidelines contains instructions. Schema contains field and label. Annotation guideline explain edge cases. Annotation schema define available categories. Annotation guideline support consistency, and schema provide a structure for annotation. So guideline is just principles, rule, but this is the main structure for doing the work. This can be, you can say, schema can be kind of a template. Guidelines is a guiding rule, guiding principles. You need to look out, do's or don'ts. Simple rule. Schema, what can be labeled. Guidelines, how to label it correctly. Yeah, it doesn't end there. We still have what we call ground truths. Ground truths. Ground truth is the trusted reference answer or label considered correct for a particular data example. Ground truth is used when training AI system, evaluating model performance, checking annotator quality, and comparing prediction against results. Example of a ground rule: image, picture containing a cat. The ground rule is cat. If AI predict dog, the prediction does not match the ground rule. So the ground rule is like what we see in business analysis. There's what we call acceptance criteria. Yeah, it must meet this criteria. It can be called quality control. It must. This is a standard. This is a benchmark. It must meet this. If it does anything outside this, we are not taking it. Yes, that is what ground truth means in annotation. How ground truth is created. Ground truth may be established through expert annotation, verified record, multiple annotation agreements, human review, established factual information. Like we talk about review yesterday, some of us are going to be working as review, whereby once this annotation, labeling, and training, then somebody will want to test to see the outcome of the model after this. Yeah. And if the model is not, we have what we're expecting that the model should do. We talk about test data. By the time we finish the annotation, then we use test data. After annotation and training, we use test data to, so there's something we're expecting the outcome. So that is where the ground truth comes in. It must meet that standard. And we do that through what we call human review. That's what our reviewers are going to be doing. As a reviewer, you're going to be using one like ground rule. As a matter of fact, you can, if you can just use standard control or acceptance criteria, but every career path have their own jargons. So, but that is what it means. In my class, I might say we can in classes here or in meeting, we use, instead of ground truth, we use ground rule. I can tell you in my class, before you can ask questions or before you can talk or before you can present, which all of you know, you put on your camera, is a ground rule. It's the same. If you are not doing that, it's not accepted. Even if you have you must comply. So annotation activity must comply to a certain standard. So, yeah, you gonna have what we call annotation metadata. Metadata in annotation is additional information recorded about the annotation process rather than the primary label itself. Example, annotator ID, annotator date, review status, confidence score, tax ID, annotation version, review ID, comments, and timestamps. So you see that this metadata has nothing to do with the annotation itself or annotation schema or annotation. It's just a document covering the whole set of annotation activity. That is metadata. So now you see a metadata can be, you see, it can be a document. You use a kind of a control document where we have date, label, annotator, data, label, annotator, date, and confidence. So it captures everything about the annotation. Is a documented information about the activity carried out. So it can be a single source of truth about the annotation. So the annotation, the label is positive, but the annotator, date, and confidence information are annotation metadata. So all of everything put together in, if you carry out annotation, the whole activity put together is annotation metadata. So why metadata matters? Metadata supports quality assurance, traceability, audit review analysis, dispute resolution, measuring annotator performance, and data governance. So is a single source of documents that covers that activity. If there's any audit going on, it should be covered on that. This should be the document that covers everything. Traceability, everything. We'll talk about traceability, and I thought about change log. Any kind of change going on we can create an annotation today. We might find out we made a mistake in the annotation, and we do, after review, we can go back and make an amendment. All of them should be recorded. When the first annotation date, the review, the amendment, all of them should be contained in the metadata. So that's what it's saying here. Human annotation. Human annotation occurs when people manually review data and assign the required label. Yeah. So at times machine does it. It's not only human that does annotation, or it can be generated. So I told you we talk about synthetic data yesterday. Humans are especially useful when task requires judgment, language understanding, cultural understanding, interpretation, context, and specialist knowledge. Example, a human annotation decide whether wonderful, another two-word delay is genuinely positive or sarcastic. So a simple annotation system may incorrectly interpret wonderful as positive, but human judgment can recognize it as sarcasm. Yeah. Like now I can ask a question and you got it wrong. And I say, wonderful. You know, in this context, I'm saying, wow. You know, it might not really be wonderful. You performed too excellent. You know, oh my God, this is very wonderful. Is a different interpretation. So that is where we employ human review at times, human annotators, because machine do not know everything. Like I say, machine do not have emotion. Then we have AI assisted annotation. We use AI to do annotation as well. You know, AI assisted annotation uses an AI or machine learning system to suggest initial label, which human then reviews and correct or approve. So even if we use AI, it says subject to human approval. That is, in this context, we call it human in the loop. Because everything we do with AI, the best practice while using AI is human in the loop. So not giving AI final power to make decision over us. So that's why if anything happen, whatever goes wrong, somebody should be accountable. Somebody should go in for it. You generate an image that is causing problem, causing controversy, generating serious controversy. You can also, well, is AI that AI is controlled by human. Example workflow where we use AI assisted aspect of annotation. You see AI read, my account was locked. AI suggest account access. Then human annotator, human approves. And another example, AI suggests billing. Human annotator determines refund. So you see, we don't leave everything to AI. We must have human somewhere in the loop. Even though AI suggested billing, but we still have to determine whether it's going to be refunded. Human versus AI annotation. Human annotation, human labels from the beginning. AI proposes an initial label. Human is often slower. AI increases speed. Most of the time is because of the speed. It's as a matter of it's better is yours because it's speed, and yeah, AI can do a good job, which we because a lot of AI has been trained to do some work for us. So some work now, because we'll be training this AI over time, even on this annotation, we should be able to give them some, to do some work, and we assist them and making it easy for us, So we don't do everything from the scratch now, because so all we need to do is human in the loop, reviewing and improving. Human annotation, strong human judgment. AI combines annotation with human review. Human annotation, useful for complex cases. AI useful for high volume tasks. When we have high volume tasks, that's where AI becomes very handy because of speed. Human annotation can be expensive, hiring the amount of annotators as human, paying them is a lot of money. We pay a lot of, but AI can do a lot of work within a short period of time, and we're not going to pay for it, just a subscription. So, may reduce manual workload. Important principle, AI annotation does not necessarily remove human annotators. Instead, the human often review, validate, correct, and carry out quality control after AI has done a job. Data annotation life cycle. When we want to do annotation, we have a life cycle. It starts from raw data. From raw data to define annotation requirements, to create guideline and schema, and then annotate. Then quality assurance to review, and then review from stroke validation. Then after review and validation, approve the annotation, and then we use the data to train AI and evaluation. So, standard annotation workflow is here: data, raw data, annotation guideline, label, quality assurance, validation, and proof. Yeah. So, from here, this is what we do at this level in this workflow. Step 1, raw data, collect the information that need annotation, example, customer, messages, image, video, or documents. So we go about collecting the data first. Then number 2, annotation guideline. Define exactly how the data should be labeled. We must have a guideline before we start. We already talk about guideline. Then number 3, we start labeling. And number 4, we carry out quality assurance. These are things we can do within the quality assurance, which is accurate, completeness, consistent, and compliant within the available guideline. Validation is after review, expert review. Then if there is correction, we carry out correction, return the data to annotator, or escalate it to higher authority, and approve data set. Once the quality requirements met the standard, then the next thing is approval. Once the approval is granted to the data annotated, then it can be used for training, for validation, for testing, for evaluation, and model improvement. So this is a simple life cycle of annotation. Practical exercise. This is a practical exercise. Annotate customer messages. Use the following annotation schema. Yeah. The intent class, sentiment class, message 1, message 2, message 3, message 4, and yeah, so please try to participate in this activity. Anytime we give activity, do it. And you are not doing it for me, you are doing it and documenting it for yourself. Yeah, so at this point, what do we gather from this session? From this session, we've gathered the following. What is data annotation? What is data labeling? What is different between data, label, and class? What are annotation guidelines? Now we learn about annotation schema. We learn about annotation ground truths. We equally try to understand examples of annotation metadata, the human annotation, AI annotation, and what happened after labeling in the annotation workflow. So that's it. And this is where we are ending it for tonight. So yeah, thank you for participating in this class. Yeah, if you have question, I'll give permission for only 2 people to ask question because of time. Yeah.
Thank you.
So try to make sure you read your notes as well. And just because these days we find it difficult to read. So the next thing is for me to prepare for my next class. Yeah, I have data analysis with Python. So some of us who are part of the class, we are moving there right now.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Just do your assignment, read your notes. By next week, we're going to be more hands-on. So we're going to be try for us to be fast, and if there is need for us to increase our days, so I will see what happens because our data analysis class is almost coming to an end. If we can finish that one, then we can increase the number of days in this AI engineering. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right.